From tying grass around a partner's hands or feet to getting on one knee with a diamond ring, proposals have come a long way. The journey of how we express love and commitment is as old as humanity itself, shaped by eras of bravery, tradition, and culture. The evolution story of proposals has some crazy parts that would blow your mind, like when kidnapping a woman was a form of proposal. Join us on this journey as we uncover how the act of proposing transformed from ancient rituals to the cherished traditions we know today. Long ago, in the prehistoric times, proposals were far from the romantic gestures we know today. Back then, a man would show his intent by gathering resources or hunting, proving his ability to provide. This was less about romance and more about survival. Legends even tell of cavemen making ropes from grass to tie around their chosen partner's hands or feet, a symbol of capturing the spirit in a rough form of partnership. Fast forward to ancient times when marriage proposals weren't always peaceful, especially in warrior societies. The concept of bride kidnapping emerged. This was where a man would abduct, and oftentimes violate the woman he intended to marry. Around this time, warriors or Viking men kidnapped foreign women for marriage or concubinage from lands that they had looted. While brutal over time, these events became legitimized. However, this act became illegal in 1100. But many centuries later, after the fall of the Soviet Union in the late 19th century, this practice started to resurface with a twist in some places like Kyrgyzstan, a country in Central Asia. The abductions became legitimized through family negotiations and marriage agreements. Instead of being violated, the young man abducting a woman either by force or by deceit is often accompanied by friends or male relatives. They take the woman to his family home, where she is kept in a room until the man's female relatives convince her to put on the scarf of a married woman as a sign of acceptance. Sometimes, if the woman resists the persuasion and maintains her wish to return home, her relatives try to convince her to agree to the marriage. Rejecting a kidnapping is often culturally unacceptable for women, so when the woman refuses, her family can accept on her behalf. In places like the ancient Greece, a more poetic tradition evolved. Men would toss apples to the women they wished to marry. This was inspired by the story of Eris, the goddess of chaos, who threw a golden apple at Peleus and Thetis' wedding guests because she was angry that she wasn't invited. But there was a message on that apple that said the fruit was a gift to the fairest. This act wasn't just playful. It symbolized the man's wish to make the woman his wife. Since the primary purpose of marriage then was to produce heirs to inherit familial qualities, status, and property, the man was free to start the marital rites once the woman catches the apple. But when ancient Greeks and Romans started to value marriage as a civic duty, Greek men would ask a woman's family for her hand, and the Roman tradition of giving a ring upon engagement was born. These rings symbolized a binding contract, not just a declaration of love. The rings were originally made of iron as a way to say, "My love is strong." In ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia, marriages were often arranged. Proposals were basically family negotiations, with marriage contracts detailing each partner's duties and dowries. It wasn't exactly romantic, but it laid the foundation for partnerships as a social contract. Then came the Middle Age, a time when love, honor, and duty were woven together in the chivalry code. Knights were expected to show respect and bravery, especially toward women. Kneeling was a way to demonstrate loyalty and humility, often seen in acts of homage to kings and lords or during prayer in churches. Over time, this humble act found its way into courtship. Kneeling before a lady was a way for knights to pledge loyalty and devotion, embodying the ideals of courtly love. Interestingly, while love became an important element in courtship, marriage among nobility was often a political arrangement. Families sought to strengthen alliances and grow their power. However, the act of proposing on one knee introduced a personal and romantic touch. It became a chance for a genuine connection, even when love wasn't the primary reason for marriage. By the 14th century, the practice of kneeling during a proposal spread across social classes. People began to marry for love more frequently, and proposing on one knee became a way to express true devotion. This tradition had transformed from a grand display by knights into a meaningful act for people everywhere. Then in the 1820s, there was a big shift towards love-based proposals. Men formally courted women, and proposals with engagement rings were incredibly elaborate and filled with poetry, and they were supposed to be memorable for both the proposer and the proposee. Then in 1947, a pivotal moment in proposal history arrived. The De Beers campaign, with the slogan "A diamond is forever," revolutionized how people viewed proposals. Suddenly, proposing with a diamond ring became the ultimate romantic gesture, adding sparkle and symbolism to the already magical tradition of kneeling. So when someone kneels to propose, they're taking part in a tradition that's lasted through millennia, from cavemen showing strength to knights displaying chivalry. to modern lovers making promises. While we may not live in a world of knights and castles, the act of kneeling to propose still holds its magic. It says, "I love you, I honor you, and I want to share my life with you." Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.